the target for that kite is 99% of the customer. This kite, anybody can go kiting on it. It was designed with this in mind. So the big thing was like having a very forgiving, easy, shooting and go is a big focus to me for a beginner. You don't want to have to move your kite too much when you get going. It's all about getting ready, putting on the bar, and get going.
I want to make sure that you understand that this is not a beginner kite. The idea wasn't to just, for example, replace the ride with a street strut. The idea is to create a kite that a guy can come into the sport straight out of a school, that a school would go, okay, you just learned to kite, this is what you should buy. We wanted to make a kite that was intuitive, accessible, but that they would not outgrow. Because nobody wants to buy a beginner kite. Nobody wants to buy a kite that, yeah, this is what I learned in the school, and as soon as I know how to go back and forth on my twin tip, I gotta buy another kite. So the Triad is something that you won't outgrow. How does it fit into our range? And what does sheet in and go mean? Because a lot of people say, oh, sheet in and go. If you read most of the kite ads from all of the different brands, and you read the 4 or 5 keywords for all of their kites, whether it's a freestyle kite, beginner kite, wave kite, they say the same thing. Easy water relaunch, great depower, sheet in and go. It's like nothing means anything, because they use the same words to describe every kite in the line. So sheet in and go is for the guy, and there's a lot of good things about sheet in and go, not just learning, but it's pulling in the bar, the kite makes power and goes. You don't have to, like a lot of kites, depending on where the toe point is with the draft, etc., you actually have to move the kite across the window and let out to get power to get up and go. Right? We've had kites like that in our range in the past. The X3 was one of those kites that it only made lift when you accelerated it across the window. So to jump really well, you need speed, you need good timing, etc. A sheet in and go kite, you pull, it makes power. You don't pull, it backstalls and flies backwards into the water. You don't pull and nothing happens. Everything is configured in such a way in terms of depth. The luff strut on the Triad, which we'll go into, which really helps the kite breathe, makes extra power without having to create wind across the canopy. That also helps it jump. When you're not really perfect timing and jumping, you want a kite that you pull and it jumps. A lot of kites don't do that. You call it misfiring, where you go, you get ready, you go, and you jump, and you didn't do it quite perfect, and you just kind of downwind, and you go this high, and nothing happens. So it's a very intuitive, very easy kite to fly. You always know where it is in the window. You know, if you're not the best kiter in the world and you're worried about, okay, I'm getting on my board, you don't want your kite to suddenly be over there going that way. And a lot of kites do that, especially kites that have a lot of frontline pressure where you have no bar feel at all. And I could name 5 or 6 of the top selling kites from our competitors where I fly and I have no idea where the kite is. There's no feeling at all. You always have to look for it. So the Triad is intuitive. It has the power when you want the power, it depowers when you want to depower, and you have an awareness in the sky of where it is. So what that means is it's really good for a beginner, but it's also really good for an advanced guy. The easier your kite is to make do what you want it to do, the more fun it is even for a really good rider. And that's what we found with the Triad, is it's a really good kite for just all around everybody. And the way it fits into our range, is the question we're getting, well, how do I sell the Triad with the pivot? Because isn't that the pivot? Yeah, we have 2 kites now in the middle of our range that overlap. Like if this is the torch, right? You got the torch way over here at extreme freestyle. Then you got the dash next to it with freestyle. You got the pivot over here with the boxer. And then you've got way over on the other side, you know, the opposite end beginner. The Triad goes to about here, and the pivot goes to about there. So there's a big overlap in the middle between those 2 kites. With the pivot aiming more at the advanced guy that wants to ride powered, lit. Obviously, which Kevin is going to talk about it later, the performance of the pivot is there. You can jump better with that kite than anything. You can ride waves with it, you can ride lit with it, you can do kite loops with it. So it's an extreme kite for the guy that really wants to be engaged with this kite. Also works really well for everything else, but that's our target. And then the Triad is everything kind of up to that, 30% into that realm, but straight from the kite school into that. And you can go from the kite school all the way to that great performance. So there's two kites with a big overlap in the middle of our line, which is fantastic. So it's not just one kite being the pivot the guys are considering buying, but two. Instead of the Naish, the North, the Cabrina, which one should I buy? They're trying to decide between two Naish kites, which is for us a very good thing.
All right.